Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the online session organized by Skillveda. At Skillveda, our mission is to fuel your growth with expert-led learning experiences that are as flexible as you are. From certification courses to immersive workshop, we have got a wide range of skill building opportunities designed to unlock your potential and supercharge your career. Whether you are looking to level up or realign, we are here to partner with you every step of the way. Welcome to today's webinar on designing effective learning outcomes. Discover how to craft outcomes that boost student success and transform teaching. Let's extend a warm welcome to Ms. Monica, our expert trainer. She is a CBSE resource person, educationist, and consultant. With her rich experience in education, she is all set to guide you through this exciting learning journey. Welcome, Ms. Monica.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome. Welcome, all of you.
Thank you, ma'am. Welcome you in this session. We are glad to meet you, and hopefully we will be going to learn a lot from you today.
Yeah, definitely. We will learn a lot of things today.
Good
Thank
evening
you for
to
joining the sessions.
Good evening, Mituji.
Okay. Okay, so good evening, everyone. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay, so thank you for
Yes,
joining the
yes.
session on mastering learning outcomes for effective teaching. Okay, so can you all see the pre-webinar activity in the chat box? I hope most of you must have got this. Okay, so shall we discuss this pre-webinar activity before we begin the session?
Yes, please.
So, okay, first question. What does the learning outcome primarily refer to? Teaching method used? What
Do we
students
have do we have on the screen, Monica ji?
Okay, yeah, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. It's better if we can show on the screen.
Yeah. Okay, I'll show you all the questions. Um,
Are we not able to?
yeah, I'm not able to show it.
Madam,
Then
if we
then
click on the link, the questions will come.
How can you see, sir? Okay, so here, everyone able to see?
Yes,
Okay.
it's visible, yes.
Fine, okay. Okay, what does the learning outcome primarily refer to? Teaching method used, what students are expected to know or do, teachers' performance, or the school infrastructure.
B.
And also, okay. So it is what students are expected to do or know, right? That is what we are going to do with the learning outcome. Okay, mastery in learning outcome means completing the syllabus quickly or memorizing all the content or achieving a deep understanding and skill proficiency or storing high marks only.
C.
C, yes, achieving a deep understanding and skill proficiency, right? Okay, what is an example of measurable learning outcome? Student will understand photosynthesis, student will enjoy learning, student will explain the photosynthesis, or student will read the textbook.
That's C. Sorry, B.
Okay, it's B, yeah. Correct. Okay, now, next one. Which assessment best checks the mastery? Oral repetition, multiple revision reading, application-based questions, or copying notes?
C.
Yeah, application-based. Yeah, so with this evolving teaching skills and all, we are using a lot of case-based questions or application-based questions, right? So that will only check the mastery of the assessment. Okay, Bloom's taxonomy helps the teachers to punish the students or design learning objectives or manage classroom discipline or reduce the syllabus.
B.
Yes, very good. Designing the learning objectives. Which level shows high mastery? Remembering, understanding, applying, or creating, according to the Bloom's taxonomy.
D. Sorry,
D.
C.
It is D, okay, creating.
Okay.
Okay, so anything
Creating.
the children are able to create is the highest level of mastery. Okay, formative assessment is used to grade the students finally, monitor the ongoing learning, or punish the weak students, or reduce the workload. When do we give formative assessment?
B.
During the learning process. So it is monitor the ongoing learning process. Good. Feedback should be delayed or general or timely and specific, or it should be ignored.
C.
See, it should be time oriented and it should be specific. So whenever the student is completing an activity, we should give the feedback immediately and it should be specific. Instead of giving a very vague feedback, we can give some specific feedbacks in a timely manner.
True.
Okay, differentiated instruction means same teaching for all, ignoring the weak students, adapting teaching to the student needs, teaching only the toppers.
C.
C.
Very good. It's adapting the teaching to the student needs. Okay, mastery learning ensures student moves ahead without understanding, student learn at the same pace, student achieve required level before progressing, exams are removed. What is the meaning of mastery learning?
I think C.
It's the student should achieve the required level before progressing. For example, only the student is able to remember the things. You can go for understanding, then you can go for application, then you can go for creating. So mastery means every level the student should able to achieve, then only they can progress, right? So you're all very good in answering all these things. Now I will present my screen. Hope you're all able to see this. Okay, so here we are going to see about the mastering learning outcomes. So I have a question before we begin this session. Okay, have you ever finished teaching a lesson and wondered, did my students really learn what I intended? Have everyone thought like that? If no, please answer.
Sometime.
Sometimes. Okay, so why sometimes we think like what we intend to teach the students, we might have not reached there? What could be the gap there?
Sometimes it's a application of differentiate learning, because sometimes it's happened that we have very average students in a class, and mediocre students or very average or below average ratios are much more than good student, those who are good scorer. So their application based, sometimes our conceptual learning, or we can say to reach their standard. Sometimes we fail because we have to provide worksheets or explanation on
Yeah.
the same level in 35 or 40 minute of period.
Yeah, so that gap between the teaching and the actual learning is exactly what today's session is all about. So by the end of this session, you will able to write clear and measurable learning outcomes, align your teaching and assessments. You can use data, okay, to improve your student learning and how you can use those data and how you can give meaningful feedback, like as we have seen in the previous pre-webinar activity. The feedback should be timely and specific. So how we can give such kinds of feedback, and we are going to apply a new principle called as KAS framework in your classroom. KAS means knowledge, attitude, and skills. Okay, so these are the things you will learn in today's session. So Let's make this session more practical and interactive. And I'll be asking you to think, discuss, and create something all along the way throughout the session. So be with me during the session. If you have any clarification, you can raise your hands too. And today agenda, I will just break up. What are the things we are going to do in today's session? First, we are going to see why learning outcomes matter more, and how we can write some measurable outcomes. Then how we can align the assessment and we can design with the topics that we teach. And our second activity is about data driven improvement. So how the data that we keep about every student can help us improve the progress of every student, and how we can map our contents. So for example, in grade 12 physics, we know the content is very heavy. So how we can map a very big topics, and how we can break it down, how we can map it, so we can also know like what are the things we are teaching. Are we teaching up to the level of the students? All these things we can know using this content mapping. And then we can go for feedback and interventions, like how we can give timely, specific feedback to the students. Also the KES framework. And the final activity, we will do a lesson plan together. Okay, fine. So this is our agenda of today's session. First of all, why learning outcomes matters the most. Okay, so many times we focus on completing the syllabus, right? But completing the content does not guarantee learning, right? So it's like learning outcomes shift our focus from what we teach to what student actually learn, right? So when our outcomes are clear, students know what is expected, right? Teachers teach with a purpose, and also the assessment also becomes more meaningful. So for better assessment design, for improved student achievement, and also for the focused instruction, and having a clarity of what we as a teacher teaching, all these things need a clear learning outcome, right? So for example, instead of saying today I will teach photosynthesis, we can say student will be able to explain photosynthesis using a diagram. So here, instead of saying I will teach photosynthesis, you are saying students will be able to explain the photosynthesis with the diagram. Here, the student will learn the diagram. The student will also explain the photosynthesis using a diagram, right? So that clarity changes everything, right? So our learning outcome should be specific, measurable, and should have a very good clarity. We should be very clear about what we are going to teach every day using that learning outcome. That's it, the goal, right, in the class. Now, what are the common mistakes that we do? Okay, so let's look into these common issues. We use some vague objectives, like most of the teachers, they feel like writing a lesson plan is a waste of time. So they just write like understand, to understand the photosynthesis, to know photosynthesis. These are all some vague words. But when we use such kinds of vague words, we may end up with some misaligned assessments. For example, your outcome says analyze, analyze the vocabulary, but your test is asking to define an vocabulary. So analyze is different, define is different. So this itself says you're not following your objective and you have made a misaligned assessment. So this says that teaching without a measurable goal. So when you do this kind of things, you cannot follow up the students using the data that is from the assessment, right? So you cannot say whether your student has understand vocabulary or not. Instead of that, you are making the student to define that instead of analyzing. So here itself, you will lack the follow-up using the data like assessment. Okay, so what we have to do is we need to have an awareness of what kind of objective we are using and how we are going to align that with assessment. Okay, that we are going to see today. So you know what our learning outcomes are? Statements like what students should know, do, or value in a class. And this should be observable. We can observe that using assessments. We can evaluate that using the observation that we made. And it should be measurable, time-oriented, and specific. Okay. Now, some characteristics of a good outcomes that we can make is it should be specific. Specific in the case, what we are going to do in that class only, we are going to write as a learning outcome. And it should be measurable. For example, my topic is very big. I could not complete in one session. But if I try to complete that in one session, I cannot complete it anyway because there are different types of learners in a class, you know very well as a teacher. So when I dump that topic into one class, it's like I'm dumping the student with a lot of things, and at the end, student will end up in confusion. So it means my goal is not achievable. Sometimes, if I cannot complete that content, I'm pushing back to the next session. There itself, my goal is not measurable. So I cannot achieve whatever I want to do in that session. So understand your goal should be measurable. Even if you have a big topic, no matter, you can break it into chunks. Every day you take one small session, but your goal should be measurable and achievable. Okay. And your student, whatever you want your students to do, you must able to do with your students, right? And it should be relevant according to the topic. Okay. I have seen many teachers giving some irrelevant activities that will actually confuse the students. So whatever topic you're teaching, your session should have a relevant activity also. And it should be time bound. You know very well, when we are writing a lesson plan, we will write according to the time. We will split up the teaching, the activity portion, the conclusion, everything according to the time which is provided. And you should be time bound according to what is written in the lesson plan. Okay. So, okay, let us take one example. For example, instead of writing your learning outcome as student will understand the photosynthesis, you can write, describe the process of photosynthesis or identify the inputs and outputs of photosynthesis. Students are able to draw and label the diagram of photosynthesis. So when you make the, these things are very measurable and specific. You're able to complete that. And when the things are very specific, you can actually achieve your goal within that class. Okay. So some of the action verbs that we use in our Bloom's taxonomy, as we discussed. So the basic one is remembering, recalling. So things like define, list the important characteristics of a plant. All these are what? Remembering. Then understand is, for example, you're asking a reasoning question. Explain why. Okay, explain why the circuit contain a switch. Okay, summarize the importance of the plants to the human. Okay, so these are all some understanding questions. So what they recall, whether they understand the concept, they can explain all these things. Then applying is they used to solve some things, solve some problems, use the methods. Okay, all these are application-based questions. And then analysis, you compare two important things. Compare plant cell with animal cell. Okay, differentiate prokaryotes from eukaryotes. So only if they are able to apply, they can analyze and differentiate all these things. And then evaluating. Okay, justify whether this is right or wrong. Okay, and if you say yes, tell why. Okay, so these are all some justification kind of question. This is after analysis. And then create this is the most high mastery in the Bloom's taxonomy. It says like you design something. The children, when they design something out of their own knowledge, for example, using waste, they design some, some good product out of the waste or making waste a useful thing. So all these are some design. They use their knowledge and designing a project, developing some, developing some project or making a poster. All these are what? Creating. So these are some of the Bloom's taxonomy we have studied. For example, I'm using a topic like states of matter. Here, remember is list the 3 states of matter. Understand is explain the difference between solid, liquid, and gases. An application is classify the object into states of matter. Analysis and comparing the particle movement in solid versus gases. Evaluate is justify why air is considered as matter. So here, the child has to use most of their mastery in the topic and then they have to answer this. Then creators design experiment to show the change of state. So these are the different subdivisions we have seen in the Bloom's taxonomy. We have to use all these words when we are using a learning outcome. For example, here I have an activity for you. So there are 3 poor outcomes I have given. The students will understand fractions. The student will learn about plants. The student will know grammar rules. Can you rewrite these into measurable outcomes? You can also answer in the chat box, or you can unmute and tell how you can make this into a good measurable outcome. Okay. One of the participants has shared the students explain fractions. Okay. Is there any more accurate outcomes anyone can give? I'll give you some time. Students will summarize about plants. Okay. Okay, so I will give you this.
What we have to do, Monica ji, exactly in this activity?
Yeah, there are some 3 poor outcomes. I want some of them to write the measurable outcome out of this. For example, these outcomes are very vague, right? Students will understand, student will learn, student will know. What exactly in the grammar rule, the student will know.
Okay.
Student will learn about plants. What exactly in plants, the student will learn. So in one class, the student cannot learn everything, right, about plants. So what exactly the student will learn in that particular session. So here you can see the outcomes are not measurable, right? So you have to make it as a measurable outcome. Okay, so I'll give you some time.
Can
1 or 2 minutes.
Can you give some example, Monica ji, of one of the thing? Just give an example.
Just now we have spoken now.
Can
Yeah,
we
me
mention
too, ji.
like this?
Here are some of the
Represent fraction
examples.
visually.
So,
Yes.
Represent fraction visually.
Yeah, very good, ma'am. Represent the fraction visually. Okay, good. Okay, about plants, any science teachers here?
photosynthesis, what?
Yeah. Explain about photosynthesis. Yeah, we can do. Okay, then what about students will know grammar rules? Okay, so these are some of the sample answers you can see. Solve the fraction problems with 80% accuracy. Identify the parts of the plant and explain the functions. Apply the grammar rules in 5 correct sentences. So here you can see all the 3 learning outcomes are measurable, right? So the student as well as the teacher know the clarity of what they are going to do in the class that day, right? Now, can you do the same for this one? Students will understand magnets. Any physics teachers you can do. Students will learn about the solar system. Can we learn about solar system in just one day, in one session?
No,
It's
not possible.
No, not
The
possible.
students will know about plants. Can the student know about the plant in just one class?
No, 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 no.
So what are the possible learning outcomes that you can give for all these?
Magnets के लिए North Pole, South Pole.
Yeah, students will learn about the poles, the magnet.
Solar
Identify
system के लिए
planets.
planets which are near to
Yes.
sun, which are farther
Yeah.
to sun.
First,
Yeah.
we can go with the identification of planets, then describe key features. We can go with that, or understand the sun's role, how the planets, work, and how their day and night functions happen. So, in this way, we can describe.
Yeah. So students will be able to name and sequence the 8 planets in the solar system, or we can say describe at least 2 key features of each planet. Can do, right, in one class.
Yes.
According to the level, okay, that is also important. For example, primary classes, you cannot go with a lot of things. Middle classes, they can do this. For upper secondary classes, you can do even better, right? Okay. Then student understand magnet. Student will understand magnet. As you said, you can identify the magnetic and the non-magnetic materials, right? Also, as madam said, explain how the magnets attract or repel objects, right? All these things we can do in one class. And about plants,
Parts
anyone?
of plants. You
Yeah. Label the main parts of the plant. Okay. Okay. And I also explain the functions of the plant parts, right?
the
Can
role
be
of
done.
sunlight, the role of sunlight in making the food for plants.
Yeah. Yes, can be done.
Water, sunlight, air.
Yeah. And also the topic that we are choosing should be from the curriculum only, from the syllabus only. It should not be
Yes.
irrelevant. That is also most important. Okay. Fine. Okay. Now we are going to talk about alignment concepts. Okay. This is very important. Outcomes, teaching, assessment. Okay. All these must align together. So you have to think of it as a triangle. Okay. So like what you want your students to learn, how you're going to teach it, and how you will assess that. Okay. All these will come under a triangle. So for example, you can see in the example. So
Monica
the
ji,
outcome is,
just a
yeah,
minute. Richa ji is writing in the chat box also. Just read those answers for the outcomes.
yes, ma'am.
Categories such as shrubs, herbs, and creepers in plants.
Yeah,
Students can
that's a good
learn.
outcome. Yeah,
Yes.
specific, very specific. Good. Okay, now talking about this climate change. So we have to analyze the causes of climate change. Okay, so in this teaching activity, I'm giving some case-based discussion or group discussion or showing a video and asking the students about the video. So such kinds of case studies we can give. Even some documentaries are available. You can show the students these kinds of documentaries. So it will give an in-depth knowledge about that topic during the teaching activity. So instead of giving a mere lecturing, it will bore the students. You can give a lot of activities like this. And every day when you go with a teaching activity, you should build up the curiosity in the children. So if you show the same kind of activity, the children will think, okay, this ma'am has come. She will give only the same activity. What's new is going to happen. So that should not happen. If you want your students to get interested in your subject, have lot of creativity in creating these kinds of activities. Spend some time for that. So you can go with lot of different activities for your students. And also talking about the assessment, you can give some good formative assessments like writing the cause and effect chart you can make. So here you can see everything matches, right? The outcome is matching with the teaching, the assessment is matching. So it's like a triangle, right? So similarly, for the right side, you can see the teacher will okay. So the students will explain the water cycle. You have to fill the teaching activity and the assessment task for the outcome which is provided. Can anyone do this? So student will explain about the water cycle. I want anyone to explain what teaching activity you will give for this given outcome and what assessment you can give for this particular outcome. Anyone, please? Okay, so teaching activity, anyone?
Shall I, ma'am?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
For teaching activity for water cycle, we can engage means introduction. We can give like a show, short video or picture of rain, and we can ask question like where does rain comes from. We can
Yeah.
have quick discussion to activate prior knowledge with that, and second we can
We
do
can give
hands-on
some
activity
visual
on.
animation. Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
And with that, we can just hands-on activity. We can do mini experiment on that, like
Mhm.
take a ball of warm water, cover with plastic wrap, place eyes on, top, and students observe water droplets forming.
Yeah, condensation can be observed. Yeah. Fine. A PPT on evaporation, condensation, precipitation, transpiration. Yes. Also, as ma'am said, you can give some simple demonstration. It will make the students, even the tactile learners, to learn better. So most of the learners, they like to touch and see, especially in science. So I request everyone to give as much as hands-on activities as possible in science.
Exactly.
Then you can also conduct some guided discussion, right? Where the student can describe each stage in their own words. Also, role play can be given, right? And what about assessment task? Can anyone share what assessment you will give for this particular learning outcome?
Ma'am, in assessment, what we can do, we can ask after giving experiment when they will be going to do evaporations and all. So after that experimental activity, we can ask questions like what is evaporation, what happen in condensation, observe participation and responses on that part, because oral questions, the students, those who are above average, they can participate and motivate the other students too. And activity based assessment, we can give worksheet like match the stages, fill in the blanks, label the diagram in
Yeah,
primary
very good point.
classes. Yeah.
Also, peer assessments can be given. Um, Also, we can give some logical sequence of the cycle, drawing the diagram, correct labeling of the 4 important stages. All these kinds of assessment we can give, right?
Exactly.
Fine. Okay, so I hope you understand this triangle: outcome, teaching, and assessment. They should match together always in a lesson planning. Okay,
Yeah.
moving on. Okay, so what are the types of assessment usually we give in a class? Can anyone describe what are the types of assessment we give?
Diagnostic, formative, and summative.
Very good, sir. So what is diagnostic actually? What is
Trying to
diagnostic?
understand, even before formative and summative, we try to
Yes,
diagnose.
sir. So diagnostic is given before. Okay.
Yes.
And formative is given during?
During the entire year or during a
Yeah,
particular
during the,
session, which is to be capped by summative assessment.
yes. So summative is the entire year we give the summative assessment, that is during the term examination, right? With lot of topics. So diagnostic is before the learning, formative is during the learning process, and summative is like after the learning. Once all the learning is done for the term one, we give term one exam, that is summative. So these are like some traditional types of assessment. But do you think these kinds of traditional assessments are enough?
No.
No. So we have to go for a new assessment technique that we are using in CBSE, which is authentic assessment. Okay. So when traditional tests are not enough, they are actually useful, but when they are not enough, we go for these kinds of authentic assessment. So what is this authentic assessment is? So we need authentic assessments for giving real world task. Okay. Application based questions. For example, giving projects, case-based studies, giving some presentation or seminars. All these are some kind of authentic assessment which will make the students to participate more in the classroom. Okay. So for example, instead of giving only the MCQ on water pollution, I can ask the students to analyze the local water sources, right? So in Chennai itself, we have nearly 1,200 lakes, but none of the students know this. So when they source the magazines, when they source the newspaper, they are able to get a knowledge of all these things. So these kinds of authentic assessments can be given. And also we can ask the students to create some awareness poster on water pollution. And also we can ask some students to suggest the solutions, right? So all these kinds of authentic assessment will actually build a deeper learning and understanding of the subject. Okay. And it will also build a lot of curiosity among the students, and that will slowly develop the interest in the subject. Okay. So this is very important. So as I told about the water pollution, here is a sample of what kind of authentic assessment can be given in water pollution. Okay. You can also ask the students to collect the water sample and analyze the water sample, whether it is polluted or not. So by this kind of assessment, the student can develop, um, you know, in-depth knowledge about our particular topic, right? What we are teaching. So these kinds of topics, for these kinds of topics, studying about the environment is also very important for the students. Okay. Okay. Now I have an activity for you all. So here the student will analyze the cause of the climate change. Okay. So this is a science-based assessment I'm giving you. So you have to design one teaching activity for analyzing the causes of climate change. And you need to design one authentic assessment. Okay. And also check your alignment. What are the three alignments we learned? Outcome, teaching, and assessment. So all these should align with the climate change causes. And please design this and tell me. I'll give you 1 minute time to discuss. Anyone who are ready with the answers can please discuss. Okay, so can anyone explain what teaching activity and assessment you will give for this particular outcome?
Ma'am, shall I share with the learning outcome? Shall I just share with you the
Yeah,
learning
please,
outcome
ma'am.
of this? The students will be able to identify and explain at least three causes of climate change. Example, pollution, deforestation, greenhouse gases. And I think accuracy, we can just have at least 80% in a class in this way.
Okay. And what assessment you will give, ma'am?
Assessment, we can just have a formative, a kind of oral question in a class during teaching this topic. Name one cause of climate change, and what happens when trees are cut, and we will observe on that part how they will be going to relate what we have taught in a class. Maybe I'm correct, or I don't know, I'm pretty correct, or just late with.
Okay, ma'am, no problem. Okay, so your teaching activity is good, but with assessment, instead of using this normal oral, when we plan for some authentic assessment, you can also use some real world applications, no? You
Okay.
can still more you can think. You're very close. You can still more you can try.
Okay.
You're doing well. A little more on assessment alone, if you try, you can give some authentic ideas on assessment. And Pallavi ma'am has said in the chat, research and analyze from various resources about climate change and present it in the form of the PPT. Okay. Okay, research and analyze from various resources about climate change and present it in the form of PPT. Okay. Pallavi ma'am, your assessment is good, but it should be even more specific, I think. So climate change in a particular area, we can say in your area. So it will become more specific.
Shall
Or,
ma'am? Oh, yeah, please continue.
or in a particular country also you can talk about.
And authentic assessment, ma'am, can we just give in a poster making, like in this
Yeah,
top?
we can give, ma'am.
Yeah,
So
poster
that's also.
making, real life survey, as you said. We can just ask
Mhm.
some of the, source of water in that way, real life survey, or role play presentation also we can give.
Yes, ma'am, we can do. Definitely.
And the role play presentation can work in a, middle classes, because yes, in a, primary classes they can do well, but in the higher
Yeah,
classes, yeah.
middle classes, it will not work well because with middle schoolers, you can think
Project
to
works.
their level. Yeah.
Yeah, GDs.
Yeah,
Group
they can move
discussion.
outside and you can ask some questions. For example, if you are living very close to the island, you can show your island coastal areas and ask where is coral destruction is more, you know,
Yeah.
and where is the coastal area is more flooded. And what could be the reason for that? So such kinds of
Just
case studies,
analyzation, we can say.
yeah, that can be done. Yes.
Fine, ma'am.
And Venancia, ma'am, has said like vehicle pollution near the school, burning of waste, excess electricity, using cutting of trees, uses cutting of trees. Okay. So checking the vehicle pollution, okay, monitoring the vehicle pollution near the school. And we can also say like monitoring the vehicle pollution near the school and finding ways to reduce the vehicle pollution. Okay, so student may come up with answers like, yes, we can plant some trees there. We can have some strict traffic rules, ask the people to use public transport, right? Like that, student can come up with a lot of answers. Yeah, analyzing the greenhouse effect. Okay. Okay, so whenever you give an authentic assessment also, be specific with the assessment so that the student will not get confused. Like as you have said, no, in the previous one, Pallavi ma'am has said, research and analyze from various resources about the climate change and present it in the form of PPT. This assessment is very good, but children cannot monitor the climate change in all the places. So instead, you can give a particular area. For example, if you give Australia, the children will write about the wildfire, right? So these things they will research about. Even the newspapers, the previous year newspapers are available in internet. They can source from that also. Okay. Okay, Richa ma'am has said, analyze the environment you are surrounded with and write the causes of climate change and find out its solution. This is very nice. Good, Richa ma'am. This is very nice.
Richa
Okay,
ji,
so
you
this
can
is very
unmute
specific.
yourself also. You can say on the mic also.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monica ji.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. So I hope you understand what is authentic assessment and what kind of teaching activity we can provide. Okay, now we are going to talk about once after the assessment is done, we are going to have the data of what the students have performed, how the students have performed, right? Okay.
Okay,
Fine, no
okay,
problem,
Monica
Richa
ji.
ma'am.
No problem, no, Dikshit. No problem.
Okay, so now assessment is not the end, right? It's feedback for us as a teachers. So we have to identify the gap. Where is the child lagging? And we have to adjust our teaching methods. We should also be very dynamic in doing that. Okay. Some teachers I have seen, they always strictly follow the same teaching methodology. That is not good. We need to be more dynamic. We should keep on evolving according to the learner's needs. And we should support the students in this. Okay. So let's say, for example, okay, let's say, for example, 70% of the students failed to explain evaporation. That means the students did not understand the concept evaporation. So instead of moving ahead and skipping evaporation, what action we can take? We can reteach using experiment. I don't say you reteach the same concept with just lecture-based method, because if you give the same lecture-based method again, it will be a boredom for the students. So what you can do when you do reteaching, you can give some quick experiment, ask the students to do that experiment. So such kinds of activity-based reteaching is not passive, it's more active, right? So that is more important. So use lot of experiments, show some visual aids, give some short practice quiz, okay, a very quick quiz, and give them some rewards for answering well in the quiz. So these kinds of data-driven improvement can actually adjust the gap and also make your teaching help the students to progress well, okay? So this kind of support we should give the students. And also, yeah, I have some questions for you. Okay, so this is a scenario. Only 50% of the student understood electric circuit. Any physics teachers can also answer. What went wrong and what will you change as a teacher? What new strategy can we do here? You can think and answer this. So only 50% has understood electric circuit. You have taught the electric circuit completely, but only 50% are able to answer the electric circuit questions. what you think would have gone wrong? And
We
what
can
you will
show some
change?
demo physical activity we can do.
Yeah, we can do some physical activity, making electric circuit
Yes,
in
yes.
class. Okay. So what went wrong, you think?
The concept may be not so clear with the students.
Yes. So we have to build a electric circuit and make the students physically test whether the
Yes.
electric circuit is working and what are the components of the electric circuit also you can show by physically making an electric circuit, right? And sometimes some misconceptions may be there, right? So such kinds of misconception also can be surfaced when you are actually understanding how the students are able to answer. Okay, so such kinds of misconceptions can be checked, and then sometimes when you are giving a different assessment, okay, which is not aligned with the electric circuit, maybe students cannot answer well. So at that time, you cannot depend on this data-driven improvement method. Okay. So you have to align your assessment. You have to give some hands-on activity. You have to address the misconception. And also, when there is an insufficient hands-on practice for these kinds of topics, also students cannot understand. So you have to give all these things that is needed for the students. Sometimes when the concept is very big, what will you do?
Concept is very big.
Yeah.
So part
We
by
can
part,
make
yeah.
small short notes in that, give assignments to them.
So
Yeah.
also you can do formative checks during the lesson.
Yes.
Yes. And you can also, through this formative check, you can evaluate the progress of the children. Okay. And what new strategies we can do is, any other new strategies we can help the students? Using what idea you will use to change? Can you just give one strategy?
Case studies.
Case studies, okay. For electric circuit, you can make the children to build the electric circuit and bring, or even in the classroom, they can build the electric circuit based upon
Demo sort of
their
things.
understanding, right? So this
We
will
can
also
make
make
two
the
kids,
children.
one positive, one negative.
Yes.
Then bring two more kids, positive repel, positive,
Yeah.
negative attract.
Yes. And also, children can understand what is closed circuit, what is open circuit
Yes,
when they are doing
yes.
this electric circuit, right? So these kinds of hands-on act training, hands-on experiment will actually make the children engage with the classroom. And when they are engaged, they will understand it very well. That is actually the true motivation, okay, for the
Yes,
students.
yes.
Yeah. Then what are the types of data that we use? Okay, for example, test scores, right? So test scores are very vital data, formative test scores, diagnostic, or even summative. Then based upon the class participation, we check how much they are participating in the class. And most of the higher classes are giving internals for the class participation also. And homework performance. Okay, most of the students you must have seen, they will skip the homework when you're not following up. So following up the homework every day is also our work. So when you're not following up with the homework activities, they will try skipping it. Okay. And observations, how well they are doing with all the activity sheet or activities that you're giving. So you have to observe and monitor the progress of the students. So for the continuous improvement of the students, we have to plan a good lesson plan with good learning outcomes. Then we have to teach with the activities, okay, not just a lecturing type. It will become passive. You need to be very active in the class by providing a lot of activities to the students. And then assess, okay, what kind of assessment? Not just the traditional assessment. We have discussed so far about the authentic assessment also. So give as much as assessment which build up the curiosity in the students. And the assessment should also align with the learning objective and the topics that you teach. Okay, that is more important. Then you can analyze the students' performance using the data that you have created. And then you can improve the progress of the students. When their performance is not good, you can reteach the things using some hands-on activities or any improvement strategies you can use, where the student should also participate. It should not be passive. Okay. So these are the continuous improvement cycle that we do, right? Now, mapping the contents to outcomes. Okay. For example, every topic you teach, right, it should align with the outcomes. Okay, so you should avoid any extra teaching without purpose. For example, today I'm teaching about sun only. I should teach only about the sun. If I go and teach about the entire Milky Way, it means it is going beyond the limit. So for every class, we have to teach only up to their level. When we are going beyond the limit, that is like without purpose. Of course, you can give some facts, but there should be a limit with what you teach. When you go beyond the topic, you are actually consuming a lot of time with the session. And at the end, your goal will not become measurable. You cannot complete the topic that you want to complete in a day. So if you're giving facts, that is very good. But at the same time, you have to be very strict with teaching extra. So teaching extra without purpose is not going to be meaningful for the students. So our goal is to complete the learning outcomes, and we have to make the mastery of the students in the learning outcomes that we teach. So we have to be teach with purpose. Okay, so this is called as mapping table. I hope you must be doing in CBSE. So topic, outcome, activity, assessment. Okay, so you can have a mapping table for yourself. For example, today I'm teaching respiration topic, and my outcome is explain about the breathing process. So for breathing process, diagram is very important. So using the diagram or using any animation, I'll be showing them inspiration, what is expiration, and what happens to the ribs, lungs, muscles during inspiration, expiration. Everything I can show using diagram labeling or even using animation tools. An assessment, I may give some oral explanation about the breathing process. One teacher has told today role modeling is a very good activity. Yes, we can give role modeling also. We can make one child to act as a diaphragm, one child to act as intercostal muscle. Like that we can do, and we can make the children understand the respiration topic. Now, these kinds of mapping techniques, for every topic you teach, you should connect to the outcome also. Okay. So like why I'm teaching this. Okay. And a simple table like this. Okay. A topic, outcome, activity, assessment. This keeps your teaching more focused and also efficient. Okay. So please make a note of this kind of mapping table. You can also have a mapping table like this. I hope you must be doing these kinds of mapping table during the curriculum development in the beginning of every term. We do this. But if you have a good mapping table for every term you do, according to the sessions, number of periods, you will do well in the entire term. Okay, so give some time for making this mapping table. So you need not have to worry the entire term for your teaching. Okay.
Ma'am, just want to ask, because many schools they don't do mapping table. Even when we were teaching, we were also not got this kind of mapping table. So specifically, can we understand about this mapping table?
Okay. So you are asking for a particular subject, ma'am?
No, not particular subject. Actually, how we can, implement this mapping table before every summative or before planning lesson plan. Yearly plan is there, monthly plan we have, and again specifically weekly we have lesson plan. So in that, mapping this mapping table when we can implement.
Yeah. For example, you have to take your syllabus. Okay. So in the beginning of the term, okay, this is not in the middle. You have to start this in the beginning of the term before you're teaching. For example, your school is beginning by June. You have to do this mapping table completed by May itself. Okay, so you're all set for your school. Now you take your syllabus and check all the syllabus content and first find out how many topics or how many units you're able to complete in term one. So you must be having an academic timetable, right? So in that academic timetable, you can see how many working days, how many holidays. So for example, you have a good number of days in a month. You can complete a big topic. you have only few days in a month, you have some occasions coming up. What you can do is you can take some small topics at that time, okay, and otherwise you can give some revision. Okay, so using this mapping table, you can split your topic, okay, and you should think whether you're able to complete that topic within the 40-minute session or not. Okay, and very important thing about this mapping table is whenever you're doing this mapping table, make sure your assessment is aligned, your activity is aligned with the outcome. Okay, it should be like a triangle. So that is most important. And also check with your syllabus before doing this mapping table. I also request everyone to add the period, the session, the time also in the mapping table so that you can also be aware about the time for the preparation, the time, like which month you have to complete which unit. Everything will be very clear and you will have a clarity about that. Okay.
Okay, so ma'am, you want to tell that this mapping table will be implemented monthly wise, means the breakup we will
Not-
have.
Yes, ma'am. This is like a term wise. So when
Yeah.
you do this mapping table in a term wise, for
Mhm.
example, you're completing this mapping table for this term by May itself.
Yeah.
So till November or December, till the first term is over, you will not have any confusion with what you're going to teach, right?
Okay.
And also for the second term, for example, you will get holidays during December, right? So in the December itself, you complete the mapping table for the term 2. You will not have any confusion about how you're going to proceed. So
Okay.
you will also be aware about what are the holidays coming up, how you're going to complete the syllabus, and what are the topics you're going to teach in the different periods. So you will also be ready with the activities, right? So I have
Mhm.
seen many teachers just before the class, they will go and run for the activity. So that is
Yes.
not good. So when you are ready with this mapping table, you are very much prepared. So this preparedness will make you more smart in teaching also. So I
Okay.
always request most of my colleagues to complete this mapping table by the term beginning itself. That will help to map the contents very easily, especially for the secondary classes. Okay,
Yes.
because we have to go with the revision also for the secondary classes. When we are not able to complete the topics on time, we cannot go with the revision. So it's essential to complete the topics on time. And also when we have a very long break, we can go with the revision or doing some homeworks during that time.
Yes.
Otherwise, we have a very long school days. We can go with completing our topics as early as possible without skipping any classes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am. Just what you said, no? Many schools that we also have just done that monthly, lesson plans, and with that, your portion has divided. What you have said, same, but
Mhm.
have not got this, topic, that mapping table. They
Okay.
have made us understand that you have to divide your terms and summative before summative and formative,
Yeah.
and
So
with the
most of
number
the
of periods. Yes.
most of the principals they check this mapping table. So what I ask my colleagues to do is I ask my colleagues to keep it in an Excel sheet
Yeah.
and share it in the drive so everyone can see the mapping table
Yes.
and other people can also get some ideas about even some
Sure.
freshers are giving some good activities,
Yes.
so we need to be more dynamic in creating the activity and we should also be aware like if the resources are not available we cannot give that activity, so the activity should be also based upon the available resources. Okay,
Yes. So,
for
ma'am, topic
example,
will be the same. What you have just shown over here, the topic, outcome, activity assessment with this number of periods and what all things we have to implement here.
yes ma'am, can be given.
Okay. Okay. Fine. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much
Yeah.
for your patience.
Yes. Now, talking about the feedback, okay, so we have already discussed feedback should be timely, specific, and actionable. Okay, so feedback is also very powerful. Okay, but it is powerful only when it is useful, right? For example, I'm giving, okay, you did it very well, good job. Okay, this feedback, do you think it is powerful? No, it is not powerful. So your explanation is clear. You can add some examples. So now the student has understood. Okay, the explanation is clear. Now I need to add some examples. So the student will now think about the examples, what examples the student can give. So here, my feedback is more actionable for the student, and also it is timely and specific. Timely in the sense, I have to give the feedback as soon as the assessment, as soon as the evaluation process is over. If I'm giving the feedback like after 1 month after the assessment, that is not a good feedback. So feedback should be timely, specific, and actionable. So always teachers after an assessment give some time for giving an effective feedback. So just don't write good, well done. Okay, give some feedback that is effective. So that will actually make the students drive towards what is actually needed. Okay. Now see the other feedback examples. Wrong answer. Your diagram is correct, but label the parts clearly. Okay, so this is a very good feedback for the science. Okay, so instead of writing wrong answer, that will make the students lose their motivation, right? So you have to make the student look more confident, at the same time be specific in what you are expecting from the students. Okay, good work. So you explain the process well. Add an example to strengthen your answer. Okay, so good work is good. So immediately when you write good work, the student will think, yes, I have done everything well. Okay, so that kind of mindset should not come. The student should always think like, what are the weak areas? Where should I improve? Okay, and if you are very specific about giving the feedback, the student will know the right path. Okay, so you are the people giving the right direction for the student. Okay, through your feedback. Now here I will give you some feedback practice. Okay, so wrong answer is already given. Okay, so your diagram is correct, but label the parts clearly. Good job is already given. Your explanation is clear, add examples, then try again. Okay, so you can also give some more feedbacks for wrong answer, good job, and try again using the examples which are given. Can anyone try this? Do you think try again will give a good feedback?
No, it's a vague because student will not understand what need to try again. Specifically,
Yes.
or wherever they have scored less, they will be going to try.
Yeah, so this is not going to guide with any improvement, right? So it just send the student back without any kind of direction. So what other effective feedback you would propose for this? I'm not hearing anything from maths teachers. Most of the science teachers, English teachers are answering. So maths teachers use this most of the time. Try again. Is there any math teachers? Okay, so try again. I will say you have identified the electrical components correctly. Now focus on arranging them so the current can flow. Okay, now I'm giving a specific feedback saying that you have modeled the electric circuit correctly, components are identified correctly, but the arrangement is not proper. So if you make the arrangement proper, you can make the current to flow. So if you just give try again, the student will not know. Try again, right? So you need to give the definite directions, like how the student should do, right?
Like, ma'am, for example, in science, evaporation and condensation, we have asked question, and student has, not somewhere they have given the mixed kind of definition or answers with example. So that is the incorrect answer. Other than in writing incorrect or I did means, we can just give a you mixed up evaporation and condensation. So try to brief it accurately with example. In this way, you need to means you are trying to tell us to explain for each incorrect answers. Am I right?
Yeah, that will actually help. Just write very small near to that. Okay.
Yeah.
So even at the front of the question paper, you can fill your feedbacks. So the students will sit and read. Okay. Sometimes during the parents teacher meeting, when we meet the parents after an assessment is over, we cannot remember or recollect everything about the
Exactly.
students, right? So immediately after an assessment is over, when you're giving the feedback effectively there itself on the paper, the
Mhm.
student will able to read that and will have a right direction. the same time, you will also know like what are the feedbacks you have given for the student, right?
Mhm, mhm.
So
So this will work for the higher classes majorly,
definitely it
yes,
will
to
work,
get
ma'am.
improved. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you start this from the primary classes onwards, the children will start reading the feedback and the children will get the directions from you and that will turn into actions. Okay?
Yes, yes, yes. Majorly, I think parents are more curious in the answer sheets. They will be going to means in the PTM they are
Yeah.
asking much questions. Regardless that they can understand what all corrections needed, and it will take shorter time in PTM to get explanation by the teachers.
Yeah. Also, parents will have a good impression about you when you're giving these kinds of effective feedback. The parents will think like, yes, the teacher is monitoring my child in each and every sector. So you will
Yeah,
also get a good name from the parents. So
exactly.
even though you're doing your work very well, a little more extra if you put on giving
Mhm.
some effective feedback, it will make a good impression of you from the parent side also.
Exactly. It's a very very good point you have explained that
Yes, ma'am.
it will create a good impact definitely.
Definitely, ma'am. Also, not all the students, they will learn in the same way. So some
Yes.
need some extra care, some extra support.
Yeah.
Some may face a lot of challenges, right?
Yeah.
So at that time, when you give these kinds of feedback, it will actually help them in knowing the directions where they should move on. Okay.
Hmm.
So you can help those kinds of students using this feedback. And also the high scoring students, they always think like they are good at work. Okay, there are
Exactly.
many scoring students. They are like not, I don't say they are underconfident. Sometimes they are overconfident also. So
Overconfidence. Yes.
yeah, when you give these kinds of effective feedback, they can also analyze their small weak areas and will work on that. So you can aim for send them with those kinds of students through this effective feedback. Okay?
Yeah, I was about to point out this part that weaker students or below average students, yeah, they will get explained, but the overconfident students sometimes this happen. They are very good, so for them this kind of feedback will be going to give good impact.
Yes, ma'am, definitely. Okay. Okay, now we will see some intervention strategies. This will definitely work for higher class students. Okay, so when the students are not performing better, what we do is remedial teaching. We teach some 0 hours or some extra hours in the evening to give some remedial teaching for the poor learners or the average learners. We can also give peer learning. So this is a very effective technique. Some children they feel more hesitated to come and ask doubts from us. So being an adult, they will feel like, okay, she may know a lot of things. If I go and ask this question, will she see me as a very low person? Such kinds of things can happen with the children. So when you apply these kinds of peer learning techniques with those kinds of children, it can actually help them, both the stronger child and the weaker child who are involved in the peer learning. Okay, and also group work. Okay, group work is very important. Sometimes giving some differentiated instruction. Okay, so instead of using the same type of instruction with your teaching activity, involve lot of differentiated instruction. One day you go and show the animated video, the next day you give hands-on activity, the next day make the children move around the campus, show them some field trip. Okay, so all these of differentiated instruction will help and support the students in learning. Also, some group work you can give some marks grading for the group work. So these kinds of intervention strategies you can use instead of using a passive reteaching. You can give these kinds of remedial methods for improving the progress of the students after the data is checked, after the feedback is checked. Okay. Now we are going to come with the last type, which is KS framework. Okay, KS stands for, can anyone tell? If you remember, can you tell what is KS?
Knowledge, attitude. I've forgotten the S.
Yes, a skill. Okay. Okay, thank you, sir. You remember. Okay. So knowledge, attitude, and skill. Okay, what is knowledge? Knowing the concept, knowing the facts, whatever that is taught in the class. Attitude is values. For example, today I'm learning a concept about environment. The value is showing responsibility towards the environment or not throwing plastic covers here and there. So that kind of attitude is a value the child has gained because of your classroom. Okay, so that is the attitude. the responsibility. Okay. Then the skill is application performance. Okay. For example, applying their knowledge to solve some problem, that is application. So these framework is very important. In science, especially, we focus only on knowledge. Okay. But the real learning comes with attitude and the skills. Okay. So attitude is the responsibility, the curiosity to learn. Okay. And also the skill is the application, giving some experiments, doing some experiments on their own. Okay. Okay. Now here you can see one example. A topic is environmental awareness. Knowledge is define pollution or list the pollutants. Okay. Attitude is showing responsibility towards the environment. Okay. Not throwing papers, not throwing waste. Okay. Keeping the environment very clean, planting trees. All these are responsibility, right? And skill is creating a recycling plan. Okay. How we can recycle plastic. Okay. So what are the methods to recycle what to say, non-biodegradable wastes? All these are the skills the child can possess, right? Now, I have a question for you here. The topic is air pollution. Okay, this is a very common topic. You must be knowing everyone, right? So, topic is air pollution. You need to fill the knowledge, attitude, and skills for this topic. So, what knowledge you can give on air pollution, and what attitude do you think the child will develop, and what are the skills the student will able to,
In a
what you
situation,
expect the students to do?
In a city like Delhi, knowledge will be the knowledge about the AQI or the air index. The attitude will be to to reduce as much as possible as a citizenship responsibility, and skills will
Yes.
be not using the private cars and travel by the metro.
Okay. Skills is okay. Okay, sir. Good. So I think the skills will, what you said, will come in the attitude, showing responsibility by not using private cars.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. And skills is we can make the students to make some posters, do some experiments and showing like how air pollution is causing acid rain. No?
Yeah,
So such
yeah.
kinds of skills, the students, like what we are expecting the students to do, how they are applying their knowledge. Okay? So all these are skills.
Thank you. Yeah,
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your participation. Any other
welcome.
persons, please? You can also share your ideas here.
Uh, Ma'am, for knowledge, we can ask simply what we ask always in like define air pollution, but with that, identify sources like vehicle, factories, burning waste, and we can ask list type of pollution like smoke, dust, harmful gases, and we can just ask in terms of knowledge and explain effects on health and environment, which normally nowadays students they understand, they can relate, and suggest best prevention methods. I think it will come in a knowledge.
What about for attitude and skills, ma'am?
Mm, for attitude, ma'am, awareness about the importance of clean air.
Yeah,
That
very good.
awareness we can ask, and responsibility towards reduction pollution that we will
Yeah,
be going to teach in a class with during our teaching. Then after that, we can ask this responsibility towards reducing pollution and sensitivity towards environment and health.
yeah. That is about the attitude. And the skill is,
In skill, we can have that to observe and identify sources of air pollution in surroundings. We can
okay.
ask or classify activities like a polluting, non-pollution, like that in a
Mm,
class,
yeah, we
and
can do. Yeah.
analyze simple situation like cause effects. That
Mm,
situation we can give, or we can explain even if they cannot answer, and communicate ideas through posters, slogans. We can just
yeah,
give.
we can do. Yes.
Yeah.
Very good, ma'am. You have given great ideas. Good.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am.
And we can also, like Sar explained about identifying the checking the air quality. So this is one of the major issues that we are facing in North India, like New Delhi, right?
Yes,
So based on this, we can give skill ideas like interpret the air quality in different locations by making charts, graphs like that. Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. So such kinds of skill ideas we can also make. Okay. Any other participants you would like to share anything? Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your wonderful thoughts. Okay.
With your teaching and ma'am explanation, we are just able to come out with our ideas. When many times we are not able to just do in a class with the effective time.
Yeah. Then moving with the final activity. Okay, so this is a lesson design. Okay, so we are going to design a mini lesson which could be in any subject or any topic of your interest. You are going to write a learning outcome based upon what we have learned. So it should be more specific. The learning outcome should be more specific, and give a activity for that, a teaching activity and an assessment. All these three things should be aligned. And the KAS mapping. Okay, so KAS mapping. What is KAS again? Anyone? KAS is knowledge,
Knowledge,
attitude,
attitude, skills.
skill. Okay, so you have to make a KAS mapping also for the lesson that you are going to design. So I'll give you 5 minutes. I think 5 minutes enough, right? So those who have completed, you can raise your hands and you can explain your topic.
Topic can
Okay.
be any from any subject.
Any subject, ma'am, any topic of their own interest.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. I'll give you 5 minutes to complete this. So those who have completed can also explain your mini lesson plan. Okay. Okay. So anyone, those who have completed, you can share your ideas.
Um, Ma'am, that I have taken this air pollution topic, what we were discussing on same topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Shall I explain in a short what I have just done?
Yeah, please, ma'am.
Yeah. This air pollution will be the topic, and learning outcome, we can just ask students will be able to identify at three cause of air pollution, explain one effect of that, and for the teaching learning activity, um, what we can give a clean air detective in a group task.
Okay.
So in clean air detective, we will divide in different steps in I think in 5 steps, and we will be going to give exact time. We will be going to divide that time so that we cannot take much time, and students will not able to understand. So first step will be engage. We will be going to engage 5 minutes in. We will show two pictures: polluted city was clean environment, and
Okay,
will
ma'am.
ask students which place is healthier and why.
Okay.
And in step 2, for 10 minutes, we can just divide students into groups. We'll give picture cards like vehicle, factories, trees, cycling, burning waste, and we can ask, and we will tell students to sort into cause air pollution or does not cause pollution, air pollution. In that, students will be going to segregate as per their knowledge and understanding. And in step 3, for again 10 minutes or 10 to 15 minutes, teacher explains causes, effects, and simple solution using charts, diagram, or interactive boards with the help of that stuff what they have prepared. And step 4, for 10 minutes, each group creates a mini poster, whether it's a cause or effect, and with the solution. This three, with the cause, effect, and solution, they will be going to create. And step 5, group present their poster. Whatever group we have divided, they can present their poster what we have explained. For the next dates will be not the same day, we will be going to ask them to present next day. And in assessment, ma'am, what we can do that, teachers observation will be there, participation and understanding, we can segregate who has participated more and who have understood by given their answer, and their participation, how they have participated. So, and next we can just have a as per you have said this authentic assessment. On that part we can cover poster evaluation, like correct identification or cause or clear effect or practical solution. In that we can just go with that. And last, we can just tell them to write at least 150 words or 100 words on that part, what they have understood or whatever the creative part they have done. The students, those who are good in writing, at least they can explain or they can create their thought. In that way we can go, I feel. Maybe I'm not so accurate.
Okay, no problem.
You have tried, Mituji. That's more than enough for us.
Yeah.
Just I'm learning, and that's why wherever I'm not correct, I will just going to implement in my school.
You are motivating others to speak up, actually. Yeah, Richa ji, you want to say something? Richa Sharma ji, you have raised your hand.
Yeah.
Please check my mini lesson. Okay, okay. Monica ji, in the
Yes,
chat
ma'am.
box, she has sent a lesson plan.
Yeah. So Richa ma'am has shared like levels of management. Okay. Learning outcome, student will able to appreciate the functions at various level. Okay. Take a round of the school and find out the various levels at which people are working. Okay. Assessment, case based. You are a CEO of a company and the company wants to modify its existing product due to decreasing sales. You can imagine any product and take decisions or steps at each level of management. Okay. So K is mapping knowledge, responsibilities at various level. Attitude is problem solver. Okay. Skill is attribute of reflective skills as well as inquiry. Okay. Attitude is problem solver. So which means you're saying the student is responsible towards the topic. Okay. Knowledge is responsibilities at various level. Okay. List the responsibilities at various level or make a flow chart of the responsibility at various level will make up the knowledge. Okay. So here, ma'am, the topic is saying like levels of management. The student will be able to appreciate the functions at various level. Okay. And here, you're saying about the CEO of a company, then you're giving case-based question based upon the sales, right? So I think there is a small deviation with the topic and the question that you have asked, ma'am. So Ritu ma'am, I think you have to little more work on this topic and also the assessment.
Richa,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But otherwise, it's good about the knowledge, the problem, and also the skill what you are given. Okay.
Valensia ji also mentioned in the chat
Yeah,
box. Topic tissue.
So ma'am has given topic tissue, learning outcome. Student can able to define tissue. Okay. Identify the different types of tissue, differentiate the plant and animal tissues. Okay. That's good. And activity is sorting flashcards of different tissues. Okay. Matching each tissue with its function, role play. Okay. So can you do all the activities in one session? Just think of that also. According to the time, you can do the activity. An assessment is oral questioning during the activity, observation of group participation, and quick worksheets. Okay. Quick worksheet means you mean short worksheets, right, ma'am? Okay. Then KS
Yes.
mapping is knowledge as defined tissue and its types with functions. Okay. Attitude is showing curiosity about the living organism. Appreciate the complexity of body organization. So this is only the attitude. Okay. So you cannot write showing curiosity about the living organism. Appreciate the complexity is matching there. Skills classify the tissue into categories. Communicate ideas through role play and diagram. Okay.
Pallavi ji, you want to say
Yeah.
something?
So this is good. What Venancia ma'am has given is good. Okay. But the thing is, you have to reduce the teaching activity because I don't think you can complete all the activity in one session. So you can either you can make the activity short or you can do at least one or two activities, not more than that. Okay, Pallavi ma'am has raised the hand. Please tell me, Pallavi ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
You can unmute and
So
talk.
this is grade 8. Topic is how nature works with harmony.
Pallavi ji, can you be little louder? Your
Yes, ma'am.
voice is not clear actually.
Okay, ma'am, this is class 8 topic.
Yeah.
How nature works with harmony.
Mm.
Are you able to hear me, ma'am?
Can't hear at all.
Yeah, Pallavi ji, can
Very,
you
very
speak?
feeble, ma'am.
It's very, the voice is breaking down also. Can you write in the chat box if it's possible, just a little,
Yeah.
so that we can understand?
Sure, sure.
Anyone else wants to say something till Pallavi ji is writing in the chat box? Shalini ji, Monica ji, Ruchi Setia ji, have you done the activity?
Okay.
Yes. No problem. We have 3 to 4 activities.
Okay, I hope you all understand how to design a lesson using what I have given till now. And please make a note of all the things we have learned today. I will also share you a PDF of what we have learned today. So please go through this once again so that you will have an idea of how you can develop a curriculum during the start of a year and how you can plan everyday session with good lesson plans with all these authentic assessment. We learned about the triangular thing, no? The outcome, activity, and alignment should be aligned. Okay. So all these things we can use in our mini lesson plan. So we can also map the curriculum, and we can know like where we are, and we can have a clarity about what learning outcome we are doing every day. Is that measurable, specific, and timely? And whether it is achievable, that is also very important. Okay. So our motto is not to complete the syllabus. Our motto is to make the students understand and have to bring them the direction where we want the students to stand. Okay. Okay.
Pallavi
Okay.
ji, are you writing in the chat box? Please tell us, should we wait for you?
Okay.
I'm not sure.
Okay. So I think we can go for closing.
Yeah, Pallavi ji
And
has
during
written.
the time, Pallavi ma'am is writing.
Yeah, she has sent it. Please check.
And okay.
How nature works with harmony.
Yeah. So Pallavi ma'am has told the topic is how nature works with harmony. Okay. Learning outcome student will be able to conceptual understanding of ecosystem. There is a grammatical mistake here. Student will be able to understand the ecosystem conceptually. Okay. Understand independence, recognize habitat characteristics, differentiate between food chain and food web. Okay. Okay, articulate the role of decomposers, analyze human impact, value sustainable practices, develop respect for nature. Okay, I think the learning outcomes is overwhelming. Can you able to complete all the learning outcomes in one session, ma'am? So we are designing this learning outcome for one session only. So make sure you are making the learning outcome for one session only, because there are so many learning outcomes. Okay, but all the learning outcomes are very good. Activity is curiosity walk. Ask open-ended questions about the nature to encourage detailed observation, curiosity, and critical thinking rather than simple yes or no question. This is very good. You are actually inculcating the motivation. What did you notice outside today and that you have never seen before? Okay. If you had to describe the sky in 3 words, which would you choose? Why? What is the most alive detail in the classroom? What is the last natural sound you heard? Wind, bird, leaf? Okay. Okay, good, ma'am. Okay. Also, you have to include the activities are very good, and include some authentic assessment along with KS mapping also in your lesson plan. Okay, that will make your lesson plan complete. But otherwise, your lesson plan is good, except that learning outcome is so heavy. So think about that and break it, and make sure that you're able to complete that learning outcome with that one session. Okay. Okay, good,
Thank
Pallavi,
you.
ma'am. Yeah.
Very good, Pallavi ji. Very nice. Meetu ji, I would like to ask you learning outcome of this session today.
Ma'am, actually in ground level we do a lot, but many times we are not specific, and due to time constraint also what we want to do, we are not able to do that part. But today here, whatever we are doing, ma'am has explained a very well way, so that wherever we are not correct, we can take an important measurement to correct it. And even in explanation part with the teachers, we can analyze very well now, because lesson plan is very important part to describe in a class, and to stand with the students. But if we are not clear with our lesson plans, even we are checking, and we have to check every class wise and chapter wise lesson plan. Sometimes we also not able to recognize learning outcome, which is very important.
Yes.
Learning outcome and objective, which ma'am has described, and create a very good impact on this lesson plan. And I believe that all colleagues here present, we all have understood very well from ma'am.
Yeah,
And
definitely, Meetu ji.
of course, this KS rule, and the last part I just asked about the impact of lesson plan. It's a mapping table, sorry, mapping table, that we were not doing on that topic, the way ma'am has explained, and I have got benefited of that. So thank you very much, ma'am, for that. And it's a
Thank you,
wonderful
Meetu ji. Thank
learning.
you.
Wonderful learning, and thanks to Twinkle ma'am, you have taken a great initiatives, and we are seeing again and again with many a topics, many a trainings we are getting, and in one roof we are not able to take understanding, or we are not able to attend many workshops. Though there's a 50 hours training from CBSE, but with this short online training, and in short, in very minimum time, we have understood a very different way, and we can say that differentiate learning we always used to teach, that also is implemented on us as a teacher.
Yes, sir. We are trying to do our best, and our trainers are doing their level best.
No ma'am, very great job ma'am, great job. Thank you.
Thank you, Biti ji. Thank you, Monica ji, for such an insightful webinar. And definitely we will try to implement all these lesson plannings from the next time. Our educators are also, they are liking your sessions a lot.
Yeah. So I'll just convey my key takeaways, ma'am, as a final
And
one.
we will be sharing the PDF notes also in the group, just within 5 to 10 minutes.
Sure ma'am, thank you for that.
Yeah, let's quickly recap. Our learning outcomes should give direction. Okay, alignment should ensure effectiveness, and the data help us to improve the learning of the students, and also feedback drives the students' growth. Okay, KAS is the one which ensures the holistic, overall development of the student. So before we close, I want you to reflect what is that one change, okay, you will make in your teaching from tomorrow based upon these webinar you have attended. What is that one change you think you will make in your classroom? Anyone can please share your.
Positive feedback, giving positive feedback.
Yes, ma'am. Effective feedback. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mitu, ma'am.
Actually, first of all, the learning outcome and this objective, we will be very specific with that, because all lesson plan is, dedicated on this 2 point. And of course, the authentic assessment, which is very important nowadays. We
Yes.
can say this conceptual studies also, your conceptual teaching, on that it comes. So definitely in every classes I will be going to implement the authentic assessment, where we were not implementing till date.
Okay. And also, Venencia ma'am has told implementing KAS and effective feedback. Okay. Pallavi ma'am said specificity in learning. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you all of you for
Thank you
joining.
everyone
It
for
was a
joining
wonderful
us.
session.
Thank you, Monica ji, for the wonderful and insightful session. We
Thank
will
you, ma'am.
be
Thank you.
doing all these sessions continuously, and hopefully everybody will like that our sessions also. Thank you everyone for joining us. And please, we are sending feedback form in the group. So please complete the feedback form, and the certificates will be there in the group.
This
Thank
was
you,
a very
everyone.
authentic workshop.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Prantik
thank you,
ji.
sir.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. Have a nice time.
Same to you.